Hey guys, it's Tammy with Spot On Psychic Readings, and I've got a little bit of a different video for you all today. As promised, I'm going to look into what's going on with all this Aries influence that's happening right now. There's a lot of planets that are in Aries at this time or moving through Aries at this time, and you may be feeling all this intense energy. Aries is a very, very intense sign. It is the first sign of the Zodiac, and I think you're feeling how it's amplifying everything in your life at this time. No matter what sign you are, you're feeling this Aries influence on you. So I wanted to say I'm not an astrologer. I don't claim to be an astrologer. I'm a psychic medium. But I'm looking into this because this is affecting energy, and I do read energy. So I just want to go in and look at this because, we're talking about these planets that are moving through Aries. To tell you how powerful this is and to explain it as an astrologer would, so you can understand what we're dealing with, which is going to blow your mind, so hang in there with me, is I'm reading from Seren, Astro.com. And just to sum this up, I'm going to kind of skim through this quickly for you and then get back to the energy reading part of this. But in astrology, this is what it says. In astrology, this is the single most important annual reset. What makes 2026 remarkable is a rare cluster of 5 planets, all positioned in Aries simultaneously. 5 of the 10 major bodies in one sign, which is Aries, at the exact pivot of the astrological calendar is unusual even across decades. However, clusters of 3 or 4 in Aries at the equinox only happens perhaps every generation. 5 is another matter. Okay, stick with me, hang in here because you're going to like this. The centerpiece is applying the conjunction between the Sun and Neptune. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. At the moment of the equinox, they stand just under 2 degrees apart, with the Sun closing in. Neptune entered Aries in 2025 after a 14-year transit through Pisces, completing a full zodiacal cycle that takes roughly 165 years. Okay, this is why this is such a big deal. 165 years. So basically none of us have ever seen this before, nor will we see it again, okay? The last time Neptune was in Aries, the world was navigating the aftermath of the American Civil War. Yeah, the Civil War. The formation of the new nation states in Europe and the beginning of the reconstruction of the United States. There were eras of radical imagination, both utopian dreams and catastrophic disillusionment. Neptune's Aries transit tends to surface collective idealism at a pitch that can quickly tip into inspiration or fanaticism, or both simultaneously. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with, you guys. And again, this was from serenastro.com. Okay. Yeah. So let's continue at this time. So I'm going to kind of break this down and take a look at this with you, and we'll see what comes up here. But, Aries is all about identity. Okay. And Aries is about independence and action, especially the action part, right? And it's also about beginnings, new beginnings. Aries, like I said, is a mover and a shaker, gets things going. If you're wondering what I'm holding, this is my reading stone. So when I look at this, let's look at what the energy feels like at this time. I bet you can guess. I bet you're feeling it too. I'm a fire sign too, so it's working for me. It's lighting a fire under all the fire signs really strongly, especially Aries. We're in this time frame of not only all of these planets moving through Aries, but we're in Aries time frame. The birthday of Aries is at the time I'm doing this reading. So we're feeling it in multiple ways. And Aries is represented by the ram. And of course the ram you know, pushes things through. You know, it's like, you don't mess with a ram. They're very tough, you know, so it's no accident that it represents Aries. Some of this energy that I know you're feeling at this time is feeling like restlessness, right? Impatience. You know, Aries is known for being very impatient. They don't like to wait on things. You know, they like to get things going, you know, right away. So you may be feeling this in your own life, a real feeling of impatience like you've never had before. It's coming from this. Okay, you can thank Aries for this. So wanting change now, like right now, right? You may be working on projects or even a relationship or something like that, and you're just tired of waiting. You want it like right now. And I think you're going to be feeling more and more of this as we go forward. There's less tolerance right now for things that used to be okay, and now it's not okay anymore. It's like suddenly, I feel like you're drawing a strong line at this point in time. You might find yourself really setting a lot of boundaries, maybe cutting out things that don't work more than you ever have before. Especially boundaries. I feel like a lot of you, and maybe especially if you're a fire sign, and especially if you're Aries, of course, but everybody, this is for everybody's sign. I think you're probably feeling yourself setting boundaries stronger and faster than you did before. You know, it's just not okay anymore, right? One of the things that I've talked about in previous videos, and I want to talk about now, is how people feel off at this time. Like something feels really off. Something feels really weird at this time. And this is amplifying that as well. You know, we talked about NPCs in a previous video, non-person characters, and how people just sometimes don't even seem real anymore. It's just weird. This is going to amplify that, you guys. So buckle your seatbelts while I talk about this. Let me know in the comments if you've been hearing about this or experiencing this already. One of the things we are probably feeling, and I know I am, is a lot of people feel very unsettled right now. And I think you may be seeing that, seeing this with family, with your children, maybe even with your pets. So there's a sense of, why can't people just settle down, right? There's something like with the energy of people that they're feeling off, you know. And again, this could be people you know or people you don't know, you know, people you just bump into at the store. You may be seeing a lot of people feeling like they need to make a decision right now. You know, there's a sense of urgency with people right now, and the sense of pushing their values more than they ever have before, and feeling really strongly about taking a stance on things that they believe in or don't believe in. You know, there's a lot of intolerance that can come with this energy at this time. And it brings things to the surface that you've been tolerating and you're not going to tolerate anymore. Like you're really setting your foot down. And I think you're probably seeing a lot of other people setting their feet down too about things. And we're seeing it on a personal level, and we're also seeing it on a global level, you know? So you can think of it in that way. When I look at the bigger picture of this whole thing, it doesn't just affect individuals, you know, it's showing up collectively too. For all the signs, like I said earlier, it's showing up globally, it's showing up locally, it's showing up maybe in the organization that you work for or that you have an interest in. It may be showing up like the restaurant you're eating at. You know, it's things like that. It's affecting the whole bigger picture. And you can see things like bold moves happening on a global scale, you know, in governments, in world governments, really sudden changes. I think you should be prepared for some really sudden changes coming up, you guys. There are going to be a lot of people standing up for themselves like you've never seen before. Like seriously. You know, and like what I'm seeing right now, just clairvoyantly, is I think you can expect more protests here and there across the globe, really. I think people have just hit their breaking point in a lot of ways. And it's coming from I feel like in a lot of ways it was already there, but now it's amplified by this Aries energy and all these planets as they move through Aries, as I was describing earlier in the video. If you missed that part, systems are being challenged at this time with this Aries energy. And again, I'm not talking about people specifically as much as I'm talking about the energy. And of course, the energy affects all of us, you know, like it or not, it affects all of us. And, you know, as a collective, it affects the collective, but it affects you specifically as well, maybe in similar or even really different ways as well. So if we look at the elements of the signs, so we'll start with fire signs because Aries is obviously a fire sign. You're going to feel really activated at this time. This is your lane. This is like, you know, you don't want to rush through things. You know, be careful about impulsivity and things like that, because you're going to feel really activated. Your fire, again, it's amplifying everything. So if you're a fire sign, you know, Sagittarius, Aries, you're going to probably feel like you've got a fire lit under you and you're going to get a lot done, right? I feel like you've just turned this corner. You may have gone from a couple of weeks ago feeling like you were walking through quicksand, just sludge, you know, and all of a sudden you woke up and wow, with this fire under you. Let me know in the comments if that's you. When we look at the earth signs and how it's affecting the earth signs, we're looking at this pushing you out of your comfort zone. You may not feel really comfortable with this fire energy. You know, it's like you're being asked to act instead of waiting, okay? Act instead of waiting at this time. And I think Taurus and Virgo in particular, I feel like you guys are really being asked to move forward on some things. Maybe you've been holding back on, you know, in that sort of way. And Capricorn, I think it's going to really light a fire under you for new projects, new businesses. I think you're going to see yourself with 1,000 ideas, you know, coming into this. I feel like it's going to be a really good thing for the earth sign of Capricorn. So let me know if you're Capricorn and how it's affecting you, because I think you're going to see it really affecting you. So let's look at the air signs. You know, this is going to speed up your mental energy. Okay, so it's going to light a fire. You know, when you look at air and fire, like reacting together, you know, the air fans the fire and the fire burns stronger, that fans the eye. You know, it's like this cycle that goes on. I think you're going to see this happening, especially with Libra and with Gemini and Aquarius. I think you guys are going to feel like your thoughts are racing like 1,000,000 miles an hour and you've got all these ideas. I see it really not just thinking about it, but it's causing action, you know, for all the air signs at this time. Now, when I look at the water signs, so when we look at Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio at this time, it's going to really hit you guys emotionally. Of course it will. You know, you're going to be kind of maybe feeling pushed to, you know, really feel and act on things instead of just sitting with the emotions of it. I kind of see you having moments where you're really, really active and other moments of maybe feeling like super emotional at times that you didn't expect. So again, you know, looking at Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio, I think the depth of your emotions is going to be more intense because again, this energy amplifies everything going forward. So yeah, hang on to your hats there, Pisces. Okay. So let's look at how long this is kind of going on for, you know, and what I'm seeing is this energy is going to kind of come in waves. You know, I think especially with the water signs, I think for everybody, but I think you're going to feel the waves of emotion, you know, coming up for the water signs. And when the planets are in Aries, it's usually a few weeks where things feel faster and more intense and more urgent. Urgency, you know, being the key word here. So this message that I'm getting here is the energy is not here to create chaos. It may feel like it. It is here to move things forwards that have been stuck. It's to get things unstuck. It's to push people back into action. And I think we've seen some action, but I think we've seen a lot of inaction since 2020. A lot of feeling of sludge a lot of times, you know. I think especially for the fire signs, feeling stuck, trying to push through things, trying to wrap up cycles and things like that. And I do see breaking patterns. There's a lot of patterns that are being broken and not followed anymore during this energy, and it's going to cause ongoing changes, you know, and I think good changes. I feel a lot of positivity coming with this, but it might feel like chaos at first, right? So I hope that helped explain it. If you've been feeling like something needs to shift, now's your time, right? So if you've been feeling like getting started on a project, now's your time. You've got this fire energy, this strong Aries energy, like the wind beneath your wings at this time, literally. So this energy does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's not going to let you sit still. It's just not. And I think you're going to see other people around you not sitting still either. So I hope this was helpful. And again, like I said, I'm not an astrologer. I'm a psychic medium, tarot reader. You'll usually see me doing tarot readings, but a lot of people had asked me about all these planets in Aries, which is not something I usually talk about, but it's so unusual and it's so passionate. You know, I think you're going to see some really interesting things happen over the next little while as these planets cycle in and out. And again, if you want more information, you know, go and look up the actual astrology on this. It will tell you more. Again, I'm just reading the energy of this today and kind of explaining what to look out for, because I think there's going to be a lot to look out for, you know, in this. Good things are going to push through. I think we're going to see some really interesting global changes. And if you didn't see my other reading on I couldn't ignore it, because there was something coming up I didn't even know what it was, and it turned out to be I think the global financial system is getting ready to make a big change, and I think it's also fueled by all this Aries energy. So the two readings kind of go hand in hand if you're interested in taking a look at it. And it was straight tarot reading. I didn't even know what I was being told to look into, you know, when I started that reading, but it did look like there's a big financial reset kind of thing coming. So anyway, I hope you found this interesting. Let me know in the comments. It's always great to connect with you all, and I will see you again soon. Okay, have a good one.